So now you have had the opportunity to develop and write your claim. The next part of a CER is where you're going to provide evidence to support your claim and reasons that explain your evidence. So today's mini lesson is to show you how to find effective evidence or evidence that effectively supports your claim, and then how to explain how the evidence supports your claim in your reason or your reasoning. So as you know, we are asking for you to find 4 examples of evidence to support your claim in the areas of government, culture, societal roles, education. So again, I'm going to ask that you first take a look at the rubric. And you look at the rubric and you find what the rubric states, or you read through the rubric and find what the rubric states, how you will be graded on identifying evidence from multiple sources to support a claim. Now, right now, we're asking you to use the textbook, or you can also use your 4 Governments of Ancient Greece slideshow, or any of the notes or resources provided to you in class. Okay, but for this specific mini lesson, I'm going to show you how to use the Discovery Ed textbook as your source for your evidence. So you can see that in order to get a meets, or here a meets 4 points, near meets, beginning, not present, in order to get 4, which is what we want you to get, right? You are going to appropriately cite your source, and I will show you how to do that, okay? So you're going to provide all necessary information, title of the resource, page number, section number, needed to accurately cite the source. So here is an example. According to the Discovery Textbook, Chapter 2.1, Explore Section 3, that is how you appropriately cite your source. If you do not cite your sources, that is considered plagiarism. Plagiarism is when you are using someone else's ideas as your own. Okay, and you do not want to do that. So I'm going to show you how to cite or find evidence that effectively supports your claim. It's really great if you provide all the information for your evidence and you cite them appropriately. That's great. But it's also very important that your evidence is making sense and effectively supports your claim by being relevant to your claim, okay? If you just pick a piece of evidence that doesn't have anything to do with your claim, then it's not going to help your writing, okay? The purpose of a CER is to persuade your reader to think in the same way that you do, okay? Or to at least defend your claim. Then, after you find your evidence and you cite it appropriately, the next part, the R in CER, is reasoning. And the purpose of reasoning is to explain how your evidence supports your claim. Okay? So in order to receive a 4, all 4 topics, so those 4 areas that you're going to be providing evidence in your CER for government, societal roles, etc., they need to have logical reasons that support your answer or support the claim, okay? So if you don't provide reasons, we don't know why you chose that evidence. We don't know why you think that this supports your claim. So basically, your reasoning connects the dots, okay, between your evidence and your claim. So if you can see here, in this slideshow that you're going to receive, it shows you how to cite text evidence. There will be this video along with another one that shows you how to use correct punctuation. And then also what is the purpose of reasoning and how does it support your claim? How it connects the dots, okay? So we also want you to be aware that we are going to provide you with this CER toolbox. This toolbox, as you can see, helps walk you through how to write a CER. Again, it tells you what a claim is. The C in CER, evidence, citing evidence from the text that supports your claim. Remember to cite your evidence or paraphrase to avoid plagiarism. So you can see there's lots of sentence starters. We also show you how to paraphrase, okay? We do not recommend in social studies to use direct quotes. We would rather you paraphrase or put the words in your, or put the evidence in your own words. So reword it so it's saying something similar, just not using a direct quote. And then here in reasoning, we also have sentence starters to help you so that you're not using the same sentence starter over and over. That's very boring to the reader. You want to keep your reader engaged. So you can use sentence starters like, as a result, this shows that, therefore, in other words, and then again at the bottom is a final check. What should I be looking for to make sure that my CER writing is going to meet in every category? So we will be providing you this CER toolbox as well. So I'm going to go ahead and show you a strong example of using evidence. So now this student for government chose to use Explore Section 5. So I highlighted here how this student wrote their or cited the source. Okay, according to Discovery Education, Chapter 9.2, Explore Section 5, comma, it states that Sparta maintained a military oligarchy while other city-states became democracies and tyrannies. The Spartan Council of Elders was smaller and held more power. This made Sparta a powerful city-state. So now I can go to the Discovery Textbook. This is Explore Section 5, and I can see here where the student referred to their evidence for government. Okay, how were the governments of Athens and Sparta different? So this is where the student got their information. So the student correctly cited their source and also provided the evidence in their own words. Now here's an example of reasoning. I think that having a military ruled government is better because that way you have a very powerful city state and it is also very strong and well built. This way you have more opportunities and different ways to build a society. This also means that they were very strong in battle and could protect the people of their city state. Now, this student connected the dots between their claim, why they would live in Sparta, because it was a strong and powerful society because of its government, okay? So this student explained here why this evidence supports their claim, okay? One thing I wanted to show you though is in the next source for evidence, this student just writes, according to chapter 9.2, explore section 6. That's okay to do that. You don't always have to rewrite Discovery Education because it was written the first time, I know what the student is referring to. However, if you are referring to an entirely different resource, you have to effectively cite that or write it appropriately, including what is in the rubric. So always go back to your rubric and make sure that you're following the directions in the rubric, okay? It is so important to cite your sources. So again, you can see this is an example of a strong example of how to provide evidence to support your claim and develop reasoning to show why your evidence supports your claim. Now, if I show you a weak example here, this student here did include, according to 9.2 Explore Section 5, but I don't know where that comes from. I don't know where 9.2 Explore Section 5 is if I was a reader who was just reading this, okay? And it says here, Sparta had an oligarchy government. That meant that they had a big military type government that ruled and only elders could lead it. So that this here doesn't necessarily support what it says here in the claim, okay? Then when I look at this student's reason, also, I would want to be in Sparta because you always have a very strong military that could protect you, and they had a strong government. So now this student not only is repeating something that was here, but didn't connect the dots to why it's important to have a strong military. He does say that they could protect you, okay? So your reasoning, his reasoning or his or her reasoning should have been how to explain that the oligarchy type of government ruled and only elders could lead it. But what did that mean? So if the oligarchy government had a big military type of government, in the reasons it should explain why did that type of government protect people in that city state. Okay? So this student's claim, evidence, and reasoning do not really go well together. They don't support each other. So remember that your evidence needs to be from a acceptable resource, so something that we used in class. You need to follow the guidelines on how to cite your sources, okay? And then your reason should explain why this evidence supports your claim. Please be sure to use all of the resources that will be provided to you as you're writing your CER.